time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility, where one single choice can branch out into infinite realities, creating alternate worlds from the ones you know. I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if? Why, hello everybody, Spencer here, also known as Lego Dude 11, and today's video is a brand new review for you out on the channel, and today's video is none other than my What If Season 1 review. That is right, there is going to be Season 2 coming next year, but today I'm going to discuss all 9 episodes of What If Season 1 for you today. So without further ado, let's discuss. Alright, so with that being said, I do have my list of notes here that I do with everything except for Black Widow. I didn't have notes for the Black Widow, but I did take down notes here, and first and foremost, I do want to kick off my thoughts with mentioning the score, like I do all the time. And the composer for this show was Laura Cartman. Now, I've never heard of her before, but I liked this soundtrack. It was different than you know other Marvel shows and composers. But one thing I do want to mention is that it felt similar to other Avengers soundtracks. So like if you listen deeply into like some of the action or just other Marvel works, it just sounded like just Marvel composer, kind of like Alan Silvestri. I think they tried to work in some of the tunes, some of the other. You can tell that there's like the Guardians theme, Black Panther theme, and that's kind of something I want to mention with this soundtrack as well, is that they combined many MCU scores into the episodes, which I find really nice and an interesting factor to this, because you know the show What If is about taking characters from other films, other MCU projects, and switching out details and all this. So, bringing back these characters, it makes sense to have the themes, like Black Panther, for instance, having those Wakandan drums in there really makes it nice, and I don't know if nostalgic is the right word, but makes it recognizable to what characters on screen, and say, oh, this is Black Panther. Having the Guardians theme song play, like the do-do-do, right when you see, you know, Star-Lord T'Challa on screen, it makes sense to have that there. But overall, I like the theme, the score that Laura Cartman did, even though I haven't heard any of her other works. I thought it was great. I like the What If theme song. I think that was my favorite part of the show, just listening to the What If theme in the beginning, when the Watcher is talking, is one of my favorite parts. So, just in general, the score was amazing. Hearing the new type of work to soundtrack for this show was quite fun in and of itself. So, but that was my notes on that, and we're going to continue into the animation style. So, my thoughts on this show for let's go back a little backstory. So when the trailers came out of this show, like what are my thoughts on the show? Well, first of all, what is What If in general? Before I continue, I normally do that with these reviews. What If is an anthology series that takes out that basically is like a character swap. So the first episode is Captain America. What if Agent Carter got the super soldier serum and became Captain America or Captain Carter? And then the next one is what if Black Panther was Star-Lord. So kind of some character swaps here. And it's an anthology series. And I put anthology in quotes because basically until the finale we learn something happens. But back when the trailers came out for the show, I was like, okay, or when the show was announced, I was like, alright, we're gonna get some character swaps, we're gonna get some alternate stuff in the MCU, we're gonna get some new characters, right? No, that's not what happened. And then we found out it was animated, and I personally was like, oh, animation. So this could not be canon at all. And to this day, to right now in the finale, I still don't know. Like, people, like, I don't know if this is even canon. I consider it not to be, because nothing has happened in the MCU that has said, okay, this can happen in the MCU, this can happen in the MCU, but until I know further information, I will tell you. But yeah, the animation style, I think, looks fine. I think I like it a lot. Right up there with Clone Wars animation. I like Clone Wars animation so much. One of my least favorite animations is Rebels animation. I could never get into it. It looks disgusting. One of my coworkers actually said he doesn't think that it scares him. So the What If animation style scares him. So I don't know how that works, but if it scares you, tell me in the comments, and I'd like to know more about that, why. But in light of that, I think it looks fine. I was actually fascinated by the first episode and by the Doctor Strange episode, which I will mention later. But I am going to go by episode and tell you guys like my favorite points and what I liked about them, and then lead up to the finale, tell you guys my thoughts on the finale and where this show could go. Or not just where the show could go, but where it could go in the MCU, I guess, is a better thing to talk about. But the first episode, my thoughts on the Captain Carter episode was, again, it was the first episode, so I had nothing to base it off of except for trailers. And going off of the trailer, I was like, I really love Loki. And, you know, this is above Falcon and Winter Soldier for me. But the way I would rank them, by the way, is Falcon and Winter Soldier, What If, WandaVision, and then Loki. And I apologize to you guys who are huge What If fans, but this show I just wasn't, like, truly hyped for than I was WandaVision. WandaVision was the pinnacle for me, and then Loki was the ultimate banger of a show that I needed in the MCU, which it totally was. So, and I hope I'm not biased when I say that, but I just am giving you guys my fullest, honest opinion, and that's what it is. It's an opinion for you. So again, the Captain Carter episode to me was a nice opening what if scenario that had was a nice fresh taste, giving you fresh taste for what this show is. And I had no, I say I have no issues with it, but there was one slight issue, which is what everybody says, this episode felt too rushed. And it was a nice switcheroo with, okay, I almost said Steve Carell. I've been having Steve Carell in my mind recently. Steve Rogers get the Super Soldier Serum and switched around with Peggy Carter. Perfectly fine, you know, swap, and you could do that. But what they went with was the sense that they just took Captain America the First Avenger and basically put her in that movie and made like a totally parody movie with Captain Carter. And what they did was take 2 hours length of a movie and squish it down to 30 minutes. And, you know, it's super difficult to do that with the same exact plot lines when you're trying to make a 30-minute show. It's hard. It's very difficult. And they made it work, but I think when you're basing it off of other episodes, you're like, yeah, that's not my favorite. And for me, I would place it as a B tier. I wouldn't place it as a C tier for me, as like the lowest if I'm going A, B, C. It definitely wasn't one of my favorite episodes, but I definitely wouldn't categorize it as the worst either. It just had some difficult character flaws. It had some flaws in the episode itself, but you know, besides that, I think that's just my thoughts on the episode. I think what everybody was thinking, an exact parody is not generally the best idea. But on to the next one, T'Challa. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Was the one I think I was most looking forward to. Not out of the series, but out of the ones, like the first 3 episodes had been leaked, I guess, had been told to us based off of the trailers, and then that one was the one I was like, okay, episode 2, Star-Lord, I cannot wait to see. And I think it lived up to the expectations, but I think there was something, like, by the end, I was like, okay, there should have been more or something. I don't know. I don't know. I think it was great. And we get, by the end, a nice heartfelt message about, I almost said T'Challa, what is his name? Chadwick Boseman. And it's great how Marvel does these tie-ins with a heartwarming message to their actors. Like Stan Lee, we got something about him in a Marvel intro and a recognition to him. And I have something for Chadwick Boseman. It puts a like a punch in you, if you will, and it's so deep, so deep. I love the episode with, again, Chadwick Boseman voicing him in here, and Yondu, Michael Rooker doing the voice in here as well was great, and everything about it. Thanos teaming up with the Ravagers, just, I don't know. I could talk about this episode on end, like how it wasn't exact parody of Guardians, but how it was like a Black Panther swap with Guardians, and Nebula tied in there as well. Drax was in there as well, but I think this one I would rewatch more because of it. It wasn't an exact parody. It was more of its own story, just character swap. And there's things I could talk about, and there's things that I don't want to say, oh, this was bad. But yeah, by the end, by the way, there's a cliffhanger that Ego found Peter Quill, the Dairy Queen, and we were all left like, what's going to happen next? And there's something else that happens next, but that's in the finale. So let's continue on to the Avengers being hunted, which I thought was very unique. And this episode, yet again, like the previous episode, was fresh. I was looking at my notes there. We didn't know what this entirely was based off of the trailers. But again, this isn't an A tier for me. I place this is so hard, and I'm not trying to rank these episodes, but I think that this is one that was like, I don't know if it's as I think it's more rewatchable than the 7th episode, which I'll get to later. But it has interesting moments. For what this episode is it's the Avengers are being hunted by someone, some mysterious person. And you find out at the end it's Hank Pym, Yellow Jacket. And this was my favorite part of the episode, when Hank Pym comes out full Yellow Jacket mode, crazy hairstyle. That was like one of my favorite characters to see. And it's not a new character per se, but it's a different take on Hank Pym. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of it all, is that, wow, we got to see a new version of Hank Pym. And again, it's not in the MCU. It's more in the MCU than not, but it's not the live action. So, yeah, we got a lot of people killed in this episode. We got Tony Stark killed. We got the Hulk killed. He popped up like a balloon. Probably one of the most violent things you'll see on Disney Plus. And then you get Natasha Romanoff killed. You get Hawkeye killed. You get Thor killed. All the Avengers kill. Does Captain America get killed in that universe? Captain America does not die in that universe. So that's something else, because you see that in the finale. And I was like, didn't he die? But he didn't die. Because in the end, you see Captain America there. He's frozen in ice. And then you see Captain Marvel. So there are 2 Avengers there that are still alive. And then Black Widow in the finale gets to team up with Captain America and Captain Marvel. So it's pretty cool that... I guess I'm spoilering the spoilers for you, because I'm speeding up things, and I'm telling you that Black Widow from the other universe met up with them. But that was an alright episode, and yeah. But then the 4th episode was one of my favorite episodes. It lived up to everything I wanted about this show. It was a great scenario. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? And I was very confused by this title. I'm going to be straight up and honest with you. I thought it meant his actual literal heart until I watched the episode, and I was like, oh, his heart by his wife, okay, or his girlfriend, or whoever it was. I think it was his girlfriend, I'm pretty sure. If it was his wife, I think it was... I can't remember, I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, his love, he lost his love. The love is of his life. And he was trying to get her to come back to life. She kept dying, and he learned the ways of the mystic arts, and it was great to see how he just turned evil on the way he tried to get her back. Like, no, I'm going to learn this sorcery and become something else that he shouldn't have become. And then the Ancient One just split realities and made two Doctor Stranges so they could battle it out. And I loved seeing the demonic characters that happen on screen. This is something that we need. This is something that we needed. Things like this to make us think, whoa, like, what's going to happen? Like, this episode could actually tie in to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, this is something I'm saying because this episode, like, other episodes were like, oh, okay, that was kind of cool, but this one made it seem like, okay, where is this going? Because Doctor Strange is kind of... The December to March is like Doctor Strange time, right? So, I don't know. But overall, this episode lived up to everything I wanted. I loved the demonic characters that happened, that he sucked in. Kind of like that moose creature, that devil thing. Everything that happened on screen. Like, if you don't believe me, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch it, because, spoilers, man, he sucked in some pretty crazy stuff. But... And the visuals, I think the animation and like the way they made it look, like the fire and the effects was just spot on. The way they made it look like, okay, now he's the craziest sorcerer ever. So I think they got it. But next one was Marvel's Zombies, and this one was alright. I think this one is below the Doctor Strange episode for me, but it wasn't half bad. The only thing I liked about it was the cliffhanger and zombie Thanos, but I think the team up was cool. Was very unique, but I felt like I wanted more. By the end, I was like, alright. Like, I was like, oh, zombie Thanos. Great cliffhanger. But yet, like, it leaves you wanting more, and I think that's the issue with this show as well. I feel like that's a negative factor. I'm just going to say that is that the episodes themselves are a great story. They're fun, but this is something about the whole show for me. Is that all right? They're fun, but by the cliffhanger, you're like, whoa, and you're like, okay, I want more. You don't get that until the finale, and you're like, okay, the show's done. And yeah, it's all like that's what my thoughts on the zombies one lives. Like, everything happened. Like, if you want to go watch the show, go watch the show. I'm not gonna break this down for you, but I think my favorite part of that episode was the cliffhanger with zombie Thanos. But yeah, I like the episode. I like the team up they got going on with Spider-Man, Bruce Banner, Ant-Man, Vision. Well, Vision died, but. And then Black Panther, that's the remaining team there. And they gotta go save the day, the zombie apocalypse. And zombie Thanos is still out there, but like, what happens next, right? I don't know. Because they didn't make an episode. They didn't make a part 2. Which I think is one of the biggest episodes to make a part 2 on. But they didn't. So, that's something I would really be looking forward to, interested in. But again, I don't know how to tell Marvel that. It'd be like, call Marvel up and be like, hey, can you make a part 2 on Marvel Zombies? Be like, hey, yeah, we'll do that for you. But I don't think they have my number. I don't think I don't know what their number is. I'm just being funny here, but I don't know. Let's go on to the next one, which was Killmonger. What if Killmonger saves Tony Stark? Now, this one was an interesting story as well. It wasn't one of my favorites. So, here's how I would classify these. Doctor Strange was one of my favorites. The zombie one was underneath that, and then Killmonger was underneath that. If you'd like to see me rank these episodes, I might do a live stream. I don't know. I don't really particularly like to rank these, but, when I get to the end, I might rank them. But anyway, Killmonger saving Tony Stark was an interesting choice for an episode. By the end of it, it felt like a recreation of exactly what Black Panther was, but with Tony Stark technology. it really had nothing to benefit on, in light of the fact that Killmonger was back in the finale. Really had nothing to do, like, it was like an interesting character swap parody. That's all this episode felt like. And you might say the same thing with T'Challa Star-Lord, but I like that episode's story more than I did T'Challa Black Panther. Or Killmonger saving Tony Stark, however you say that. But I just, as I'm watching it for the first time, like, I like seeing new Marvel content. And for me, it was like, okay, what's going to happen in this one? Like, this looks kind of fun. Like, okay, stuff's happening. Oh my gosh. Climax is coming up. What's going to happen now? And then the Tony Stark, the Stark bots, robot things, are in Wakanda, right? And you know, it's a fun story. But I had more fun with the T'Challa Star-Lord one. I had more fun with the zombies. I had more fun with the Avengers being hunted. I would watch that one more than this one. It just felt like something that we've seen before with a different character swap. I could kind of go on all day about it. I just, and I'm not trying to be negative, which I kind of am. I like to be positive about things, but it's one of the things, like, the animation wasn't bad. It's the same animation we got. All the animation stays the same. The story was interesting. You know, Tony Stark seems to die in every episode he's in, so that was kind of, like, quite a shock. Like, whoa, he got killed. But at the same time, I'm going, oh, okay. There wasn't anything that really grabbed me in. And by the end of the cliffhanger, at the cliffhanger, I'm going, oh, okay, there needs to be more that got my attention. It's like Pepper Potts and Shuri want to team up, and you do see that later in the finale, but there wasn't a lot of attention. By the end of the story, T'Challa, I keep saying T'Challa's dead. And Killmonger goes and talks with him, and is like, he's king of Wakanda now. So it left me in like really, like, why was this something that needed to happen? But I don't know, because I do know why it happened, because of the finale. He needed to be in the finale. That's why. But it just doesn't. The only thing was, like, the Doctor Strange one that really got my attention. But anyway, that was my thoughts on Killmonger. Next one was Party Thor. And you know how I was just, like, totally almost so negative on the Killmonger one? Well, this one I really am negative about. Not that this one was bad. This one was really funny. And I think looking at the Killmonger one and this one was really funny. Had a lot of jokes that, you know, kind of I laughed at. But for the story elements, I would rewatch the Killmonger one. I don't know, the story in the Party Thor, again, like this is how I look at the show, is animation, right? Oh, animation's for kids. So if I want to show this to a child, I'd be like, here, watch this one. This one has a lot of jokes. It's a silly story. You'll love it. But if I'm going to show something to a child, I would not show the Doctor Strange episode to a child. I'm being completely honest with you. Maybe even the zombie one. Maybe that one might be terrifying for kids. But I don't know. I think the show is all over the place in terms of, like, what's childish, what's not. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. But yeah, Party Thor seemed to be really weird. Party Thor is exciting. He wants to party. He's an only child, and kind of like me. But I'm not. I don't know. I don't party a lot, so I don't know if that's. I'm not exactly Party Thor, but the whole episode was bonkers and all over the place. Like, he's just having a party. He wants to. His mom is having a bachelorette party or something, and yeah, he gets, like, the whole galaxy to come party, and Jane wants to be with him, obviously, because they like each other. And then S.H.I.E.L.D. comes in and uses the beeper to get Captain Marvel to come in. They have a fight. Loki, by the way, looks completely different, which is really fascinating and kind of interesting to see him as a different way. But yeah, the fight was really bizarre, going from area to area, and also by the end, when the climax, when Thor's mom is trying to come, kind of like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off scenario, and then they're learning the ways of Earth, I guess, and it's just completely bonkers. I really don't know what to say about this episode. It's just completely bonkers, and if you want to check out the episode, check it out, but if you can't because it's too stupid for you, I don't blame you. Whew! But by the end, we do get the best cliffhanger out of all the episodes. Shocking that we have the best cliffhanger and the worst episode, but I'm kidding. I'm kind of kidding. I'm not really, because some people hate the episode, but we see Ultron, successful Ultron, and he has all the Infinity Stones, and he actually has vision in his face. So, which is the beginning of the part 1 to the finale, which is episode 8, and yeah. So, what if Ultron 1 was episode 8, and this one was very serious. Like episode 7 was very jokey, had a lot of jokes in it, and this one was very serious, where there's no one on Earth left except for Hawkeye and Black Widow. And this is where I said this black version of Black Widow was the one where, in the finale, where I'm getting ahead of myself again, was she goes to the reality where Black Widow was dead, where all the Avengers were being hunted, and stays in that one later. And I'll tell you as to why that is. But yeah, Ultron won. He was successful. He took down Thanos with just a slice with the Mind Stone, and that's how he got all the other Infinity Stones. He gets a whole bunch of armor, and then he goes and creates a whole bunch of robots to take over the world. He destroys like Xandar, a whole bunch of other worlds, and sees the Watcher. He actually sees the Watcher through the barrier, and then goes on a whole battle. The battle was insane. I think it was one of my favorite battles in all of What If, but then by the end, the Watcher gets this amazing, like, armor, and you see the climax, or not the climax, the conclusion. You see him team up with, go get the Doctor Strange from episode 4. That's one of my favorite parts of it. And then the finale is different people teaming up. For instance, the Black Widow from that same universe, Captain Carter, Doctor Strange, Party Thor, Killmonger, T'Challa Black Panther, and Gamora from another universe, where you see Tony Stark with his Ikarian armor from that same Lego set. There's if you guys don't follow my channel or Legos in general, there's been a Lego set where Tony Stark has on this armor from the finale, and people didn't know, like, hey, what is this episode actually happening or not? And I guess it was just a world where Gamora's there. And in my opinion about some of this, like the Gamora and the Tony thing, like, it doesn't matter. I really didn't need that to be its own separate episode. I think some people are frustrated on that factor. And also, just some of the stuff, like Gamora, like, we needed to introduce her. Yeah, but it was the way they tied it all in. And the same thing, like, with the ending scenarios, like, oh, we got Dairy Queen, Peter Quill. Oh, we got Killmonger. How did this happen? How did this happen? We don't know. But the thing I would have liked to see is a part 2 to the zombies. So, anyway, we kind of got some resolutions to what was happening in the other episode conclusions, or cliffhangers, if you will. But yeah, I love the final battle between the Guardians of the Multiverse and Ultron themselves. Some of it was goofy. Some of it, the logic didn't really make any sense, but at the end of the day, it was an animated show where they could do kind of whatever they wanted. It was like, oh yeah, this worked because of this, and like T'Challa Black Panther was like, just use the sticky fingers, this is how it works, and then grabbed the Soul Stone, and there he has it. But I I liked everything, how it was resolved. You know, using the arrow to get Arnim Zola in there, being the virus, and then they saved the day based off of that was really interesting. And then seeing the mid-credit scene with Steve Rogers potentially in that suit when Captain Carter goes back to her universe, and I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens in season 2 once that's in season 2. My thought I love the finale battle. This is all what I'm talking about here. I don't like to break down things. It just makes no sense for me to break things down. I just loved everything that happened. My favorite episodes were the finale 2-parter and the Doctor Strange episode. So those would probably all get a tie for me in an A tier. And then Zombies, Killmonger, Zombies, T'Challa, Star-Lord, and Captain Carter would probably get a B tier. Killmonger, Party Thor, and the Avengers being hunted would all get a C tier for me. That's how I'd rank them right there. Just for you guys' information. Yeah, my favorites: A tier, B tier, middle, and then C tier, lowest favorites. And I'm not saying again, like the Avengers being hunted were bad, but it was just like one of my least favorite, not rewatchable ones. Party Thor definitely not rewatchable. Killmonger definitely not rewatchable. I think I'd rank the Avengers being hunted above Party Thor. I could do this. I could do this all day, but I could do this all day. Talk about this all day. It's so much fun. I would say it's so much fun. I like this show, again, as I said before. I rank Falcon and Winter Soldier, then this, then WandaVision, then Loki. There's a bunch of rewatchable moments within this, but I just don't think it's as rewatchable as WandaVision or Loki. It's just, I feel like it's one story and then you're done. One story and then you're done. It's not as of, hey, let's continue watching this because it has lots of great MCU moments. It has a lot of tie-ins. It does, and there were confusing moments with the MCU, with the Infinity Stones as well. Like, how did these work inside of the multiverse? How did they not work? And I think that broke something with the Marvel Universe because they discussed that in Loki, but now we don't know if it's true or not, but if it will come back or not in later in the MCU. But I'm excited to see how this ties in with Doctor Strange. I'm slightly excited for season 2. It's just something I'm not too hyped about. I'm more looking forward to what's that called? Loki season 2. I'm more looking forward to Hawkeye than I was What If. And I apologize to fans, What If fans out there, but I don't know. I really don't know. Those are my thoughts on What If. Let me know what you thought of the show down in the comment section below. I hope this wasn't awful for you. My like ending thoughts on it, like, yeah, that was pretty bad. But anyway, wearing my Guardians of the Galaxy shirt, Guardians of the Multiverse. Not really Guardians of the Multiverse, but yeah, for this review. And anyway, don't forget to hit that like button if you did enjoy this review. Subscribe to the channel, LegoDude11, down below. Follow me at Boba Fett Jedi Master, link is down below as well. Be sure to share these videos with your family and friends, and stay tuned for more videos or reviews in the future. Next one, I don't know if I'll be doing Venom. Maybe, I don't think so. Next one will be for the Eternals in November, so stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more reviews to come. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me. Don't forget to keep calm, play Lego. Stay tuned for more reviews, and don't forget to keep calm, play Lego. Peace out. Bye, everyone.